Speaking of children's movies, I watched The Road.
Oh, yeah.
For the first time.
There's a kid in it.
I want to rewatch that now.
It's kind of like the live-action version of Frozen.
Yeah.
I watched The Road. I just watched it for the first time. Came out a few years ago. What did you say?
2007, 8?
Was it that long ago?
Between then and 2007 through 9.
It's been
somewhere.
Yeah, one of those.
It's been out for a long time.
Over
2009.
And you know what? I think it's a very underrated movie. You never hear people talking about The Road. I fucking
That movie
loved it.
disturbed me. That movie got... There's one scene in particular that, like, creeped me the fuck out.
I think it's so well done and it's so fucking down and depressing. I don't think people want to rewatch it, and I don't think people walk away from it going, that was awesome. They're kind of like, oh, that fucked me up.
But that's...
Yeah.
I mean, that's my kind of movie.
Yeah.
I feel like if a movie... I think I've said this before. If a movie can make you feel a certain way, make you feel like, you know, like churned up on the inside, then it's a pretty good movie because it's all an illusion anyways. And that's the point, is to get inside your head and make you feel stuff. And The Road does that on overkill. There's every other scene is just like getting inside your head and making you like cringe and just fearful for what's about to happen. And I thought it was awesome.
It's on Netflix, right?
It is on Netflix, and that's where I watched it last night.
But I will say, though, that I don't really care for movies that are nothing but a downer and then end as a downer and whatever. I didn't feel like The Road ended that way. I walked away from The Road. The whole thing ripped me apart. But I did feel when it ended, I was like, yeah, I'm glad I watched that. It wasn't... I didn't leave with a feeling of, oh, man, I wish I wouldn't have. You know what I mean? Like, not that it ended necessarily even redemptive. It just ended in a way that it was worth the whole journey. You know? It wasn't just, this all sucks, and then it still sucked. Goodbye. Yeah. You know, it ended on, it had a message, it had a, you know.
I really think it's a legitimately great movie. Yeah. They have so many encounters in The Road that have the same setup, which is basically... You know, the world has gone to shit, and you can't trust anybody. And they're constantly just meeting strangers and having encounters with people, and you don't know if you can trust them.
Right.
Constantly, over and over. But every meeting is different, and it always plays out a different way. And it really explores what this world is like. And I just really, really enjoyed this movie. So
it seems so believable, too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it's super believable. Except there is one scene where I was telling these guys about it. There is one scene in The Road that I think stands out. It's kind of out of place because it's like a fucking commercial for vitamin water. They like break into some bunker.
Yeah.
And they're like, they haven't eaten in a long time, and they find a pack of vitamin water, and then it's like close up on Viggo Mortensen, slowly pulling it. He's like this bright light behind him. It looks so beautiful. He's just like, vitamin water.
Yeah, do you think that's a sponsorship?
I don't know. I was reading. I like to like go on IMDb after I watch a movie and read all the trivia.
Yeah,
me too.
And they were talking about how there's a scene in the movie where they find a can of Coke and you know
I've heard this story.
Yeah, there's a little boy in the movie, and he's never had soda before, so they find a can of Coke, and it's like this big event. And I was reading that they filmed this scene with a bunch of different kinds of sodas because they didn't know if Coca-Cola would okay it.
Right.
And apparently in the original book, it was a Coca-Cola can, and they said that Viggo Mortensen called up Coca-Cola and kind of negotiated that they'd be able to use it. But I feel like Coca-Cola struck a deal with them. And then they were basically like, yes, yeah, you can use our soda, but you got to throw us something extra.
Is this negative though? Them using, because I don't mind sponsorships like that if they're done well enough.
You know what's funny is, go ahead.
It just bases it in reality. I live in a world where there's vitamin water and Coca-Cola.
Yeah.
So if they're drinking like. Shows like Lost got away with it, making their own Dharma branded.
Yeah. I don't mind it if it's integrated into the story, which is to say, like Rocco and I were talking about how in Sopranos, Tony Soprano drinks Coca-Cola, and that's not a product placement. David Chase has said, like, no, this character, he likes Coca-Cola because that's a really popular drink in America. He's one of the millions of people who like Coca-Cola.
Yeah.
And that's fine to me, but there are certain times in a movie where it feels so ham-fisted, and like. I think it was, I don't remember the name of this movie, but Seth Rogen and Barbara Streisand were in a movie recently where they go on a road trip. It's like mother and son, and there's so much blatant product placement in that movie where it literally, like, they rent a car from Avis, and it's like, oh, I heard these small cars aren't safe. Actually, every car at Avis is insured with a 5-star safety rating. And then it cuts to an Avis sign and then, like, pans down as they drive out.
That's like in X-Men 2, the Wolverine and the Dr. Pepper in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Do you remember that? That was like the worst one I'd ever.
So I feel like if it distracts, if it ever hit like clicks, like, whoa, is this a fucking commercial? If you have to question that, then it's wrong.
This guy's saying that vitamin water was in the book, so there you go.
Well, there you go. Then
when was the book written?
Recently, I guess. It has to be.
I don't know about that.
Well, I don't know. I don't fucking know. I don't read shit.
That guy's lying.
I watch TV.
You read the chat.
I watch reality TV.
That's an unconfirmed fake news story. So if you didn't laugh,
you recommend that The Road to people.
I think that's a really underrated
I absolutely recommend The Road. Last of Us was game of the year to so many people this year. If you like Last of Us and you haven't seen The Road, do yourself a favor. Watch The Road. I feel like The Last of Us was directly influenced by this movie.
Definitely, definitely. Well, I see the artistic valid points and stuff, but fuck that movie. I want to talk about some real cinema.
Okay.
All right. So this last week, we went to the Game Developers Conference.